Good evening and welcome to the United Stand, Skype Goldbridge, Manchester United news, Jose Mourinho's FA Cup quadruple bid. Lots to get through. It is your show, but just before you start Skyping in, I want to get into some breaking news. Eric Bailly played for the reserves tonight, Monday night, if you're not watching on Monday night. Surprised, I thought he would go into the team to play against Hull at home on Wednesday. Obviously that wasn't Jose's plan. Getting him a bit of game time. Don't really understand why he needs game time when he's been playing in the African nations. And he's come off injured at half time. So cracking news to start off with, which may lean into our next thing, which is odds slashed massively on Seamus Coleman to sign for Manchester United tomorrow from Everton. Ireland's captain, experienced right back, somebody we've always wanted at Manchester United. Would you want him? Does the Bay injury make that more prevalent now? Will we go back in for Lindelof? I think we've got an interesting day tomorrow, depending on how bad this Bay injury is. But lots to discuss, lots to talk through. Seamus Coleman, would you want him at Manchester United? I think it's brilliant in itself because some people are saying, why do we want him? We've got Valencia. Some people are saying, experienced right back, we can use Valencia further forward. We've been drawn against Blackburn in the FA Cup, 5th round, away from home. A winnable game, even if we select the team from yesterday. Can we do a quadruple? The quadruple would be the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Europa League. I'm not going to say we're going to win the Premier League, but top 4. It's a poor man's quadruple, but Liverpool called it a treble when they won the UEFA Cup, the League Cup and the FA Cup. They didn't finish anything in the Premier League and they didn't get in the Champions League. So we can call it a quadruple. Is it possible? Have we got a squad big enough? Did yesterday show that yes, we do? Effectively 5 new signings yesterday that have not really been used this season. Luke Shaw, Anthony Martial, Schweinsteiger, Fosu Mensah and Anthony Martial. So lots to look forwards to. And Chris Smalling, was the other one. So lots to discuss, lots to get into, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. Coleman, would you want him? Do you think we should go for somebody else? How bad and impactful could this Bay injury be? It's sod's law, isn't it? We've been getting by for a month. We've been getting by with Rojo and Jones while he was in the African nations. Rojo and Jones have started to show a few cracks in the last couple of games, but we're all happy because Bay's coming back, and now it looks like he might be injured. As I said, the Coleman thing, can we win the quadruple? Should Shaw, Marshall and Schweinsteiger be involved in the whole game? Absolutely loads to talk to, but it is your show, so get Skyping in. The Skype name is Skype Goldbridge. Skype in from now, give us your thoughts. We're waiting and we're ready for you. What's Bay's injury, says Ryan Garton. His foot's been strapped at half-time. Reserves playing, and yes. Brian Robson, Captain Marvel, says Coleman, yes, but I don't expect us to sign him. Well, I'm awaiting your call, so I'm just reading your comments out of the mark. Who's Lincoln got in the FA Cup? I think they got Burnley away, but Sutton got Arsenal at home. Brilliant tie, that is. Non-league Sutton. So Skype Goldbridge is the name. Get Skyping in. I know I'm slightly early, but do call in and give us your thoughts. Let's go for Roy. Roy's first up. Roy Million, can you hear me? Hello, Roy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How you doing, pal?
Hello? Yeah, it's Rory. Hello?
Rory, yep.
Good.
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. What was it you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, no, just hearing you in those first few seconds about Seamus Coleman, and I've been going on about it for the last year, even before Valencia started playing really well. And I was itching for, as obviously I'm Irish, and I was itching for another Irish player to be at Manchester United, like Roy Keane. Obviously Darren Gibson was absolutely terrible, and John O'Shea was okay for like 1 or 2 seasons, but Seamus Coleman, especially for Ireland, he's kind of like that Valencia player, except he's actually better defensively, and he can put in a good ball into the box. Like, he's brilliant. His delivery from the wing is really good, and he's gotten something like for Everton, he's gotten like 4 goals, I think it is, from coming up from right back, and he's gotten for Republic of Ireland, he's our captain, and he's one of those he's kind of like Roy Keane. He's a really, really passionate player, and it really drives Ireland on because he's obviously our captain at the moment.
Okay, you've gone a little bit quiet, Rory, so when I come back to you, if you could just get closer to your mic and speak up a bit. But I got most of what you said there. Obviously, Rory's from Ireland, very positive about Seamus Coleman. I think he's 27, he might be 28 now. I've liked Seamus Coleman for a long time. I think he's a very, very good Premier League right back. He's Premier League proven. He's good going forward. He's good defensively as well. In fact, the only time I've seen him really have a bad game was when Martial tore him apart last season. But He's a very good right back signing. I'd love us to sign him. And I think, if you understand Manchester United as well, and I obviously lived in Ireland for 3 years, so I definitely get this, but Roy Keane, there's a great history of Irish players playing for Manchester United. We don't really have that at the moment, and we haven't had it for a few years. So I'd love it for that point of view. I'd love us to have an Irishman representing Manchester United again. I think that would be fantastic for you and the Irish, Rory. Hello?
Yeah, and I heard you say something. I didn't realise that Eric Yeah, hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah. Just speak up a bit.
I didn't realise that Eric Bally was in. Yeah, I didn't realise that Eric Bally was actually injured today. I didn't hear anything about that. Is it serious, or is it like out for like a week or two, or how long is he out for?
He's been played in the reserves tonight, Eric Bailly. I didn't even know about it until about 10 minutes ago. I was keeping an eye on other things. I forgot the reserves were playing, and he's been picked for the reserves tonight, which I find odd anyway. He's been playing in the African nations for the last month. It's not like he's been on holiday in Barbados, so he's been keeping match fit. He's come back from the African nations. We've played him tonight. And then we've got a game on. I mean, we all assumed it was going to be him and Jones playing as centre back on against Hull on Wednesday night because we played Smalling and Rojo last night. Then he picks Bay to play for the reserves, and Bay gets injured at half time. So he's only literally just got injured. His foot's being strapped up. So I'm baffled really. I don't know why he didn't just play him yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think I have to see saying that. I don't think that will be as you said, we might be signing another player. I don't think we'll sign anyone in the defence during January, because I think Mourinho's happy with Smalling. I don't really rate Smalling. I don't think he's he's not going to win you a league. He might do well for someone maybe like Everton or Southampton or teams, especially when he's being covered quite well. But Phil Jones and Rojo, I think they're his two go-to guys if Eric Bally is out, and then Smalling's on the fringe as well. So I wouldn't think that he'd get Victor Lindelof or anyone like that, and hopefully it's not serious for Eric Bally.
Okay, fantastic first call. I know you're phoning from Ireland. Whereabouts from, pal?
It's Mullingar.
Thanks for calling, and please do call in again.
Okay, I will. Thanks, Mark.
Cheers, pal. Live TV. Bit of a delay there, but a very good first call. Irish, they would love Seamus Coleman to sign. I'm not saying he's going to sign. I suspect he won't sign, but the odds have been slashed drastically, and it does look like that may be there may be something in that. I've got a call here with 3 people in it. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know what they're playing at, but well, let's hit it and see. What's all this about?
Mark.
3 people in a call.
Hello.
Hello?
Mark, how you doing?
I'm not bad. Who's that? Hello?
I've been added to this call. I've just picked up. What's going on?
All right. I'll kill it. I'll kill it. Sorry. I don't know what. I just clicked on something there because it was weird. There was 3 of them calling. I can't handle 3 at once. Pardon. But Coleman, not a chance. He would shrivel in the shadow of legends, says GMank77. Hello, Mark, and hello, other United fans, says Rick H. Copite, who did you use to get in 5th round? Liverpool fan on there, Copite Kieran. He likes to come on and give a bit of banter. There was a classic line from Jurgen Klopp today, in case anybody didn't read it. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. This is the genius of Jurgen Klopp. He basically said, it's disappointing to lose 3 games in a row, but I'd rather lose 3 games in a row in 3 different competitions than lose them in the same competition. Yeah, because you can lose 3 games in a row in the FA Cup and still be in it, you clown. But don't want Coleman, says Darth Vader. He wants Semedo. Let's get Owen on. Owen, can you hear me?
Owen? I can indeed, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good. Just want to talk to you about the FA Cup draw.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit of background noise off my audio as well. Is there any way you can shut that down and just have you?
Yeah, mate. Just give you a second, yeah.
No worries.
How are you doing?
Okay, you still there?
Yeah, good. Nice one. What do you think of the FA Cup draw?
Blackburn away, for people who aren't aware of that. I wanted a home tie. I'd love to have got the tie that Arsenal got. Sutton away. I think, I just think I watched the highlights of knocking out Leeds last night, and I think I do like the FA Cup. I think we got it right. We mixed it up right. I don't think we should have played our first team, but we played a strong enough team, and I think again that just shows how weak Liverpool are in relation to their squad. You look at what Chelsea, us, and Arsenal did. We can still have a good competitive team out, but I'm happy with it. I'd expect us to beat Blackburn away. I think it'll be tougher than Wigan, and obviously being away, but it's a good test. I just hope, I don't know what you think, that he uses a similar team to yesterday.
I think he's definitely got to shuffle the squad, because we play Saint Etienne on the Thursday just before, and our next game is on the Wednesday. So I'm hoping we get on the TV on the Sunday. I don't want to. Obviously, we can't play on the Friday, but I don't want to be playing on the Saturday. I'd like to have that 2-game rest in between each game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean,
the other thing I mentioned last night, you put a question forward. Would you rather win the FA Cup, League Cup, and finish outside the top 4, or not win the cup and finish in the top 4? And for me, I'd like to reverse that question and say, what if we won both the League Cup and FA Cup, but finished 5th and City and Liverpool qualified for the Champions League? Wouldn't you be gutted? For me, I'd rather finish in that top 4 and not win a cup, because the Champions League is so important financially, commercially, and to stick it to City and Liverpool for me.
I mean, I don't know how many people follow at United Stand MUFC on Twitter or the Draughty Devil on Twitter, but we did a poll today at lunchtime, and it's a fantastic one. There was basically 4 choices. One of them, like Owen said, was just simple top 4. One of them was finish 10th but win the Europa League, the FA Cup, and the League Cup. One of them was finish 5th and only win the League Cup and the FA Cup, and one of them was finish 5th and win the Europa League. The one I can tell you now, the one that got the most votes, it wasn't a landslide, it was about 40%, was just finish 4th and get Champions League. Even though finishing 5th and winning the Europa League still gets you Champions League. So I'll throw that back to you, Owen. What would you prefer? 4th and Champions League, or 5th and Europa League, with both scenarios getting the Champions League?
I can see where you're coming from, but you go for that and you just think the Europa League is so difficult to win. It's so difficult to win because you're playing right up to May. Plus, if we do well in the FA Cup as well, our fixture congestion is going to be ridiculous. Let's get 4th. If we win any other trophy, it's a bonus. But we're Man United. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest. We have to be in the Champions League. We are as big as Munich's, Real Madrid, Barcelona. We're up there. We're in that top echelon of teams. We have to be in the Champions League. I don't want to risk it for anything.
Jose Mourinho's Manchester United challenge, Jose Mourinho's FA Cup and quadruple bid. Do you think you've sort of may well have answered it there, but quadruple for me would be League Cup, FA Cup, Europa League, and top 4. I think that's a bloody brilliant quadruple. I think it's a hell of an ask. It's a hell of an ask to do that.
There's a reason why no team has ever done it, and it's pretty much because it's virtually impossible. And I think that answers your question. For me, let's get the Champions League. Anything else is a bonus. I'll leave it at that.
I work with a Liverpool fan, funnily enough, and I gave him a bit of a ribbon today. Tried to hide, but I followed him into the toilets, not the cubicle. And he said, no. In all fairness, United approached the FA Cup correct, and we didn't. And I said, you know what? I don't know why did that, because you're out of everything else. You've just got the league, and the FA Cup really doesn't cause that much of a hindrance because it's always a weekend game anyway. But I said to him, you know what? They're probably
they're not even in Europe. So
no,
it's
exactly,
not. Yeah. It's for me, Klopp. I don't think he devalued the competition. I think he wanted to get blood the youngsters, blah 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 blah. But he's tried that already against Plymouth in the cup and it failed. So for me, all I think he's done is knock the confidence further, and I think it's backfired on him. But having said that, all they're playing for now is the league. So maybe it might work to their advantage because we have got a lot of games coming up. But we've got a bigger squad than them. You saw the likes of Schweinsteiger, Tansibe. We had a lot of players playing yesterday. Shaw, great to see Shaw back, who I've got a lot of time for. I think with Luke Shaw, Mourinho's handled him really well. Don't forget, 18 months ago, his leg was hanging off. It broke in 2 places. It was a question whether he's going to play again. So I think a lot of United fans have got to give him a bit of breathing space. It was his first game since November. So I've got a lot of time for Luke Shaw, and I hope he has a great 10 years at United.
Brilliant points, Owen. Where are you calling from?
Camden in London, mate. I'm afraid I'm not abroad.
No worries. It doesn't matter as long as the call's quality stays like that. I thought it was fantastic.
Nice one, mate. Love the channel.
Great. Please do call in again, Owen. Brilliant.
Cheers, mate. Ta-ra.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the quadruple, as much as we talk about it, and I've heard Arsenal talk about it as well, I think last year, and it's never been done, like Owen says, for a reason. It is very, very difficult, and we are going into a situation, I mean, you can't even say it's twice a week. It's 3 games every 7 days, because we're going to be playing Saturday, Wednesday, we're going to be playing like Saturday, Thursday, Sunday, so it's... Or maybe you know what I mean, Saturday. But we are going to be playing 3 games every 7 days. We've got the squad to do it, but a couple of injuries, which is why when I'm on about Seamus Coleman bid, I don't know whether we should be going out and signing somebody tomorrow. Surely, I know it's difficult to turn something round in a day, but if groundwork's been done like it has been done on the Lindelof deal, you could just go fuck it. I don't want to swear. You could just go sod it. Bay's looking like he's injured now. Let's go and buy him. Let's just pay the 35 million. Let's buy him, because you know what, we've got. I think we should have bought somebody this January. I know we might not be able to get who we want to get, but it's. I just don't. We've got so much on offer this season, and we've got to get Champions League football. But we will see. We will see. Tell you'll need to call me, because I don't know why I'm searching for you in my address book and you're not coming up. So if you just do the call, I'll take it off you. That's fantastic. Hopefully he's listening for that. Arsenal also talk about Griezmann. Forget it, Mark, says Zlatan. Yes, they do. They do. Christian Haas says YouTube has just unsubscribed him. Make sure you're subscribed. There's some weird thing going on with YouTube at the moment that it unsubscribes people. We keep getting loads of people saying this. Make sure you subscribe to the United Stand. Bottom right hand corner is the hologram to do it, and also make sure you click the bell so that you know when we go live. But drop us a like on the video as well. Hopefully Terry can hear me from the Football Terrace.
Hello, mate. You all right?
I'm very good, thanks. We were going to do this a week ago, or I think it was a week ago. I'm sure he wants to talk about something else. We've only got 5 minutes to whack into it, but we've been wanting to talk this for a long time. As anybody will know, whether you can't stand the United Stand because you're a local bigot who just thinks everyone should come from Manchester, whether you're a Liverpool fan, whatever, you will always get the opportunity to talk on this channel. I'm not building Terry up to be some sort of arsehole. We're past all that. I really like what he does and I like his opinions, even though I don't agree with him all the time. But Herrera is something that you've been consistently on about for a few months now. In all honesty, I sort of I don't agree with you, but I don't think he's been that good in the last few games. Where are you coming from with this, Tel? What's your point on Herrera?
Well, I've recorded the video, so it's a good little prelude to it, where I will stand by what I said in the summer about wanting him sold. And before the comments box goes crazy, what I will refer to is, if people go back and watch what I said and read tweets and blogs that I've written and everything, I talk about a player that 95% of Manchester United fans were calling to be our number 10, our creative midfielder. I never felt he was good enough, and Jose Mourinho agrees, because this season Herrera has been absolutely fantastic, but in an enforcer role, in a midfield role, breaking up play, making interceptions, and clearing up mess. He hasn't been great. Obviously, he's had a few good through balls and he's done a bit of creativity. There's no denying that. But he isn't, in no way, shape or form, an attacking midfielder, a number 10. And if you go back and search it, just search the words like "and Herrera number 10" and look at the amount, and just go back and scroll and look at what everybody was saying 12 months ago up until the end of last season. And if you now search his name, you see interceptions and defensive midfielder, and he can replace Carrick, which is true. But as I say, I'm happy for him to stay at the club now, because I think that Mourinho has done an amazing job and helped found and nourish a position that he's brilliant at. But as a creative and attacking player, and what most people wanted him to be played in that number 10 role last year, I thought that he wasn't at the right level, so we needed to go out and look for something better. That's all I've ever really said about him. And I suppose I had a bit of an issue with, again, the fanboys, people that would... It didn't matter what he did, good or bad. They wouldn't notice the bad bits and just the good bits. So for a little bit of fun, I like to just stick it to him, just to sort of poke them with a stick, really.
I don't think anybody... I mean, all I would say is that, we all have our opinions and we're not necessarily right about them, and they can... What I always find funny is when somebody says, you didn't want Mourinho a year ago. He'd just been sacked by Chelsea, and I thought we could get Ancelotti. My point is, football opinions change, and I can quite honestly say, and the videos are there, that I wanted Rojo and Jones sold in the summer and didn't think they could be defenders, and Mourinho turned them into defenders. So your opinion can change. What I would say about Herrera is I don't believe he's a defensive midfielder. I don't think he can replace Carrick at all. I think he's a box-to-box midfielder. He's not a number 10. He's definitely not a defensive midfielder. I thought he was poor against Stoke in that position. He does what I do like about Herrera, and I think why a lot of people have got a lot of time for him, he sort of falls into that matter category where he's respectful of the club, he gets what the club's all about, and he gives it his all. And I think United fans are educated, and they like that sort of, I think even Rooney doesn't get into that for some reason, and certainly Martial, people say doesn't try, which I want to talk about in a minute. But Herrera gets a lot of credit because he sort of gets it.
He's a workhorse. He's a workhorse, and he puts his art on his sleeve. And I would never challenge that or take it away from him. And you're right, he isn't good enough to replace Michael Carrick, because he doesn't have the subtleties and the ability to read the game. What he's great at is using that passion to smash things up and break up play and intercept the ball. Because you see, when Pogba has a bad game and doesn't turn up, Herrera's not able to command that central midfield area. And there's some interesting stats people can look at that show Herrera, when he's disciplined and stays central, Man United win. When Herrera goes off on a tangent and he isn't disciplined and doesn't stay in that area breaking up play, United don't win. So it's very much okay. He's a very good player. He's not a rubbish player. He's not, he's got great energy, great passion, and he loves the club. But you can't build a midfield around him. He is a bit part player, and you could still go out and find better than him in the market, in my opinion.
I've said myself, I think, and it causes people problem when I say it, but I'm saying it with the best interest of Manchester United, is that I think when Manchester United are challenged for a title, I'm not sure Herrera is a midfielder for Manchester United. I think he becomes a bench player, which is fantastic because he'll play 30, 40 games a season. I just want to quickly touch, Terry, I know we've only got a minute left or so, but Anthony Martial, I did see you tweeting at the weekend calling people fanboys about it, but then I saw you today bigging Martial up. Where do you stand on Martial? Is it just simply backing what Mourinho's done, or is Martial a player that you're not sure
I think people really misinterpreted the video. I don't know if it's more just they see Martial's name and they had a little bit of a hissy fit, but basically Mourinho has seen a player that he doesn't believe through training and effort on the pitch is trying hard enough. I trust Jose Mourinho, his record, best manager in the world at the minute, to say things as they are, and he wasn't happy. Of course, you expect more from Anthony Martial because he's one of our best players. So I would expect double the amount of energy and effort and performance from him as I do someone like Jesse Lingard. Mourinho isn't an idiot, and there's no way he believes Lingard's a better player than Martial, but he wants to see more effort and energy from him. What gets to me is that there are more people now that support players, in my view, than actually support the football club. People are telling me to back my players and back the club, and I'm like, well, I'm exactly backing the club. And I'm saying, if a player, as much as I love Martial, as world-class as I think he will be, if he doesn't want to listen to the manager, if he wants to allow his agent to keep prostituting him to other clubs to try and get back in the first team, if that was a continual theme, then I'd be happy for him to go. That isn't that I want him to. It's saying you have to listen to your manager. If you don't, for me, that makes you that's not the way I want to see Manchester United go, with Chelsea-style player power that can see a manager win the double or a manager win the Champions League and then get sacked 12 months later because the players ain't happy with him. The manager has to have control. The manager has to have rule, and you don't get that. Having that energy and having that a sort of enthusiasm, Herrera-esque on the pitch, is what you expect to see. I'm not talking about a man smiling every minute like Dwight York. I'm just talking about a man really getting his head down and working hard. And only an idiot would say that Martial has been brilliant and been like that this season.
Okay, we could carry on. I've got to get other callers on, but thanks for calling on, Terry. Football Terrace there, and I'm sure we'll get you back on again. Really good points.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Take care, yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good points there. And you know what? That's what it's all about. I know a lot of people will not be agreeing what you said about Herrera, and 50-50 I think with Martial, but you'll always get a voice. I'm not going to come back. There are aspects of that I disagree with, but he's gone off the call, and I've got to get other people on, and it's unfair to respond to that and give them what I think. Maybe we'll pick it up at another time. Maybe I'll pop on the Football Terrace. But what I would say about Anthony Martial is, just slightly I disagree with, is I think when you look at what Martial's done in the last 6 weeks, Everton away, Borough at home, Reading in the Cup, and yesterday, His last 7 appearances, he's created 7 goals, and his last 4 performances, I think he's been fantastic. So I think there is a bit of a myth that he's been bad this season. He's not been as good as last year at all. As for fans choosing players over the club, I've got to be careful here because I always felt that Terry did that with Rooney, but I'm joking. But it's. You shouldn't put the players before the club. You shouldn't put the players before the club. I'd agree with that. But I love Anthony Martial, and I would be gutted if he left. I don't think that's going to happen. People joining us a little bit later. Are we going to? I meant to ask Tel. I'll ask the next caller. Will we sign anybody tomorrow? Bays got injured at half time playing for the reserves. God knows why he was playing for the reserves tonight, but he's injured. He's got a foot injury. If that is bad, we haven't had him for the last 6 weeks anyway. Should we be going into transfer market tomorrow? If what we believe is true, the Lindelof deal was pretty much there to be signed. United are backing off till the summer in case they get somebody else. Should they just go and get that deal done tomorrow? Seamus Coleman, odds on Seamus Coleman signing for Manchester United. It's come from nowhere, drastically dropped down. Is there anything in that? Would you take Seamus Coleman? I certainly would. Blackburn in the FA Cup. Can we win the quadruple? Hull on Wednesday. Should Martial, Schweinsteiger, Shaw be involved? Get on the show, Skype Goldbridge, and give us your call. Got John on the show. John Mara, can you hear me? Hello, John.
Hi, Mark. How you doing, man?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
Great.
Okay, you're live. What was it you want to talk about, John?
The Griezmann signing. I know, obviously not in the winter, but you think he'll actually fit into what you've said, and I agree about the first team squad. Because we got Martial, Ibrahimovic, and Mkhitaryan. So where would Mkhitaryan play? That's my only question to you, because is he a number 10 or is he a right winger if Griezmann slots into that right spot?
I mean, Mkhitaryan played most of the game as a number 10 yesterday. I like him as a number 10. I think on the right wing, he's got a great delivery on him. What would you do? What would you do if Griezmann signs, as we all expect in the summer? What would your front 4 positions be, considering we're probably going to keep Zlatan another year?
So if Zlatan stays, personally, I would go for Ibra, Martial on the left, Mkhitaryan on the right, and then slot in Griezmann as a number 10. I feel like Griezmann could move all around the pitch. I know that Zlatan likes to drop deep, that Alex and if you guys have said that before, which I think could be kind of clogging up the midfield when you have Pogba there and Carrick and Herrera. Because, Carrick and Herrera like to intercept the ball and stuff like that. So I would play him at the number 10, I think.
No, I would go exactly with that. Mkhitaryan on the right, Griezmann in the number 10 position, replacing Rooney. Martial, Zlatan, I'd be happy with that. Totally happy with that. Just talking, we've spoke Griezmann there. Hopefully we're going to talk more about Griezmann. I think he will sign in the summer. 1 day left in the transfer window. Do you think Manchester United will sign somebody? Do you think they should have signed somebody?
Yeah, I do. We got Smalling, Jones, and Rojo as our center backs. I mean, Smalling yesterday, he scored the goal. He's not really good in the air. I agree with you on Manolas, but I'm not sure if he's going to go to Inter Milan or I heard Chelsea are interested. Even I was reading an article today that he's happy to stay. So for me, I would have signed a center back, and maybe Ashley Young will leave. But Lindelof is interesting. I've been listening to your channel for a long time, and I agree with what you were saying about him being like the weakest out of your top 5 center backs. Personally, I think that if we were to get a center back, it would be in the summer. But I think also Ashley Young needs to maybe leave. There's rumors about him going to China. What do you think about that?
1 day left, and apparently Ashley Young might go. I've got no idea where Ashley Young's going to go. He's on over 100 grand a week. I can't imagine us just letting him go for pennies. We don't do that anymore. It can only be China. If he goes to China, I'll be absolutely ecstatic. I don't know what you think. I'd be really happy because we'll get a good transfer fee. I don't know whether you've heard it today. It's not United related, but Igala, who was a player that Louis van Gaal wanted to sign for United over a year ago, He's in his mid-20s. He's just gone to China. I mean, for me, going to China, it's a totally separate conversation, is basically total mercenary. You just go in there to play in a pub team and get paid a lot of money. But Ashley Young's at the end of his career. If he wants to go and earn money, I don't begrudge him. But yeah, I don't know what you think about Ashley Young. I'd happily take 20 million and send him to China if he wants to go and earn the money.
20 million would be fantastic, in my opinion, for a player who is, I think he's 31 or 30. End of his career, he's been a great, player for us in the past. I mean, his goal when we beat Arsenal, 7-2, I mean, that was fantastic. He's had really great moments, but I think, he's hindering players who could slot into that right back spot or even left back, like the youth, like Twansibi, who was, in my opinion, fantastic yesterday. I mean, so composed, like you were saying, on the ball, very tall for his age.
And he's going to grow out as well.
Right. He's got to fill out a little bit, and Fosa Mensah too. So I mean, I think this winter transfer window hasn't been a failure. We've made a couple sales, with obviously Depay and Snyderland going, but I think in the cup games, Mourinho needs to use more of the youth.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think we're going to have to use the squad. I mean, very quickly, I need to take another call, but I will ask you this. What do you think United are going to end up with? Do you think we can do the quadruple?
I think it's very, very tough, and I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to gain points on the top four so far. City drew with Tottenham last week, I think it was, and tomorrow I believe Chelsea and Liverpool are playing. So I mean, top four is definitely up there on my priority list. I think we should, if we're in the competitions, definitely take them seriously, like Mourinho has been. But he needs to rotate the squad, I think, because players like Herrera, Carrick, even Zlatan, obviously. I mean, Zlatan and Carrick are older, so they should be rested for the really important games like the finals. And I think we should go for the FA Cup and the Europa League in top four. But I don't think, to take the League Cup that seriously. I mean, if we're in the final, so, I mean, we got to go on and win that too,
Yeah. Thanks for calling, John. Where are you calling from?
New York.
New York City. Concrete jungle where dreams are made of. Thanks for calling in, pal. Really appreciate it. And I tell you what, whether you're calling in from America, Australia, India, tell your friends. We want more. We your United Stand ambassadors, basically, every one of you. Let's grow this channel. Let's, places like America. Is there any Chinese out there? Send us your money as well. But thanks for calling, John.
Oh, you got it, Mark. Thank you so much.
Cheers. No worries. Thanks for coming on. Another cracking show tonight. I've had some really good guests. I'll take another call in a minute. Please drop a like on the video. This is the United Stand community video. This is where you come on and have your say. It's the one video I really want to get 1,000 likes on it because you deserve it. Fantastic calls again tonight. One thing I didn't say at the start, and I meant to say it, underneath the video, if you just have a look, it says, it will say United Stand, and underneath it says share. If you click on that share button, it opens up all the social media things. If anybody is on Facebook, can you click the Facebook icon and just share it to your Facebook page? We've been trying to share it tonight, and for some reason it's not working. Getting in contact with YouTube's a pain in the arse. So if you could just share it and then just get on the live comments and let us know if you've been able to share it or not, that would at least give us a starter for 10 after the show to try and figure out why it's not doing it. I've held this comment up on here purposely. Zlatan says, Ball Street put a video with their title as Klopp, Mourinho, Pep frauds, and the whole video was about defending Klopp. I don't watch that channel because it's not a very good one in relation to, and I'll quantify this by saying they're very much in bed with Red Men TV, and that Red Men TV is obviously a Liverpool content channel, so they're always coming out with this absolute total rubbish. What they should do is get somebody who's got some balls on it. How ironic, Ball Street. Get somebody, I'd happily go on it, or get one of the United Stand lads on it. Go on and bury you with your anti-Mourinho stuff and your pro-Klopp thing. I mean, Jurgen Klopp's an absolute clown. He has not got a clue about English football. I don't know whether it was Alan Shearer or Gary Neville or somebody, but they said, Klopp is basically, and Pep as well this year, arrogance has totally underestimated what the British game is all about. The way they've treated League Cups and FA Cups like they're just little, because in other countries the cup doesn't necessarily mean that much. But Liverpool have put all their eggs in one basket with the league, and I'm sure Liverpool fans will be absolutely ecstatic if they get top 4 because they haven't done it for a while. But they could have had a real go at the FA Cup. They're out of everything. They're not in Europe. I will not have a bad word said about Jose Mourinho. In fact, the only people who've got a right to have a go at Mourinho are Manchester United fans when we're not happy about players that he picks, this, that and the other. And that's not having a go at him. That's just us being typical fans and debating stuff in-house. We don't want him out or anything like that. We're just saying, I'd like Martial. That stuff's fine. But any outsider having a pop at our club or our manager, they can do one. Because when it comes to our manager, he's only been there a few months. He's taken over from an absolute clown who left us in a right mess. And hitting the end of January, we are in every tournament we entered at the start of the season. League might be very difficult to do, but we're still in it. Chelsea haven't won the title yet. We're definitely in a race for second place. Who knows with first? We're in a final of the League Cup. We're in the Europa League, and we're in the FA Cup. Everything in front of him. He's took his sword from his sheath and said, "Come on!" And we followed him with that. And I think he deserves a lot of credit, no matter what happens. In difficult circumstances, with the press behind him and with idiots still coming out about him being a fraud, we are in absolutely every tournament. And we've played in the rubbish European League, I know, the Europa League, but we've got through it. We've had issues. He's dropped Rooney. We've had players signings like Pogba, been slow starters, Mkhitaryan as well. But we've battled and battled. And look at all the points we dropped as well. We've battled and battled, and we are still in everything. So for any idiot outside of Manchester United fans to come and have a go at our manager, unless you're going to come on this show and defend yourself, don't make stupid videos that talk nonsense. Because Mourinho is for me, he's up there with Conte as manager of the season, because it's been bloody hard work taking over what was left by Van Gaal and Moyes, and he's done an absolutely brilliant job. And he's made silk from a sow's purse. Absolutely brilliant what he's done with the likes of Jones and Rojo. He's had lots of challenges and he's done absolutely fantastic. So it doesn't wind me up, but it's just, it's when people make content like that with no recourse. It's just like, oh yeah, we'll just sit in our little closed circle and take a pop at somebody we're really jealous of. But you won't get somebody who's going to come on and tell you you're an absolute clown. I'm sorry, but I defend my manager and I defend my club against clowns. Right, so let's take another caller. Skype Goldbridge is the number. Ziad is calling. I think we might have had Ziad on a long, long time ago if it's the same person. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mark, how are you?
I'm very good. Yeah, I think we have had you before. How you doing, pal?
I'm good, thanks. Okay, so talking about if we're going to be able to achieve the quadruple or not. First, I'd like to remind us all of how counterproductive Thursday night football was for Manchester United this season.
Yes,
we've taken 8 points out of a possible 18 in games right after the Europa League. That's 10 points drop right there. And let's admit, most of these games we should have been beating and taking maximum points from those fixtures. I mean, we drew with West Ham and Stoke at home. Those are games where we should be battering those teams. And I mean, Jose is the kind of manager that breaks down a season beforehand. And those games where we've dropped points, let's face it, it's in those games where Jose would have looked at those fixtures and said, right, we need 3 points from that game right there. Or we need a point from that game right there. And unfortunately, our team is just unable to deliver at the highest level on 2.5 days rest after going through long travel distances to play these Europa League games. It's plain and simple. I mean, you don't need a weatherman to tell you it's raining outside. And it sure as hell doesn't take a genius to figure out that going for the Europa League and the domestic league is just not a happy marriage. It's just the reality. You have to choose one. You go for both. Unfortunately, more often than not, you will end up losing both. If it were up to me, I would prioritize the league just because there's not that daunting task of the Europa League final, where it's essentially winner takes all. And personally, finishing top 4 in the league guarantees you Champions League football, which in my opinion sounds like a more achievable task, not just mathematically, but logically. It just makes a lot more sense to me, at least anyways, to stick with the assured path rather than gamble and risk getting the roll of the dice. So for me, it's all about the league. Now, do I think Jose will do that? Unfortunately not. There's many reasons why, but I believe Jose will try and go for the Europa League and top 4. One of them being as he has many players that have yet to win the Europa League, the likes of Rooney, Schweinsteiger, Carrick. I don't even think Ibra's won it yet. And a lot of those young players as well. And also it's a cup, and it'll be good to have some silverware under his belt in the first season as manager. The EFL Cup is guaranteed at this point. I just don't see Southampton beating us at Wembley. And the FA Cup is a question mark. It's just going to come down to our luck in the draw. As of right now, I don't believe he can do it, but once we reach, say, the quarter or the semi-final of the Europa League. We'll see where we are in the table, hopefully in the top 4 by then, and we'll reassess. But I'm not sure what your thoughts are on that, Mark.
Well, I was going to say, I just did my big war cry against everybody outside the club, but as a fan of Manchester United, you've got every right to say what you've said. But you've not brought my mood down at all, because you know what? What I would say is a lot of what you've said there makes total sense. I'm bloody excited by where we are at the start of February, because we're in everything. We're in everything. We're in a race for top 4. The league fixtures at the end of April and May are difficult. That's when we play all Arsenal and City and everyone like that. But we can deal with that another day. The next 10 games in the league are all winnable, and we've got to do that if we want to finish in the top 4. The League Cup starts in the Europa League starts in 2 weeks. We've got the League Cup at the end of the month, and we've got Blackburn in the FA Cup to come in the 5th round. But I expect even when we beat Blackburn, we'll still have Chelsea, City, and Arsenal still in the tournament based on the draws they've got. It's a massive mountain to climb to do it all. But I think as fans, it's going to be fantastic to watch and see what we can do. And I agree with you, Ziad. I think we will try and do it all. But I do agree with you. The Europa League, I think we were calculating last night, it's 9 games. It's 8 games to get to the final, and then it's a lottery in the final. You've got to win it. We saw it with Liverpool last year, all the way to the final. They didn't win it. They weren't in the Champions League. So I would take top 4 if we could get it. But we'll have to see. I mean, I can't predict it. A few injuries. I'll bring this back in now. Do you think we should be trying desperately to sign somebody tomorrow, or are you happy with the squad that we've got?
We should be, but unfortunately, I don't see Jose buying anyone. Unfortunately, I see him waiting until the summer to go and buy out a top-class center back, the likes of Manolas or Varane. It's those two for me. Those are my top 2 picks. One of those two would be absolutely perfect to be a partnership with Bailey for me.
So you would have signed somebody, but you just don't think we will?
Yeah. I mean, Phil Jones and Marcus Rojo. Jose's done wonders with them. They're absolutely amazing right now. He's turned them into good, decent center backs that can get you through a run of fixtures without any problems at the back. But long term, they're not our first choice center backs. We have to admit that. They're just stopgaps, and he is going to have to go out and buy someone eventually. But Phil Jones and Marcus Rojo, they're not up to the task for me for full time.
Okay. Thanks for calling in, Ziad. Over from America, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, New York.
New York again. 2 from New York. 2 from the concrete jungle. Thanks for watching, pal. And thanks for calling in. And please do call in again. Really good points.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, yeah. Really good coin. Call in. Skype Goldbridge is the name. A few of you hanging up before, but please do call in again. And I'll try and pick up on some calls from you. Ivan's doing it now. Evan, can you hear me? Hello? Evan Bevis? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you perfectly.
Hello.
Hello, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're on the United Stand. What was it you wanted to talk about? Is it Ivan or Evan? Or Even?
Evan.
Evan, okay. All right, pal. Floor's yours. What would you want to talk about?
I just wanted to talk about who you'd be upset to leave, because thinking about it, we're gonna lose the ones we like rather than the ones that we don't like.
Well, it depends who you like, really. Because if you like Fellaini, I don't like him.
No, because we like Mata and Carrick, but I think we could lose them, and we're gonna keep Darmian, Fellaini, and it just bothers me, to be honest. I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, I mean, I throw it back and say you think Mata and Carrick will go. I think Carrick. I'm a firm that I love Michael Carrick, and everyone who knows the United Stand, we pretty much all love Michael Carrick. But I don't think Michael Carrick can play the position he's played this year for another year. And I don't think Michael Carrick can be a bit part player, because I don't think there's anybody in world football who can do the Michael Carrick role. So I think if we're not going to use Carrick every game next year, we probably should just let him go and try something totally different, because I wouldn't want to see us next year using Carrick every now and again and going, we really need Michael Carrick, but he's not got the legs for it. So I don't want Carrick to go, but I think just because of age, he probably will. And I think the change in direction will hopefully be that we have a defensive midfielder like a Bakayoko or someone like that. Mata, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, Mata.
Yeah.
But I don't think people like Martial are going to go. I don't know what your thoughts on him are.
Oh, no, I don't think Martial will go. At the most, maybe a loan move if he's upset with Griezmann coming in, but I doubt it. I reckon he'll keep him in. He'll use him. But, yeah. I'm pretty settled with him staying.
What about, I was just saying to Zayed on the previous call there, Manchester United, 1 day left in the transfer window. Do you think we're going to sign anybody? And do you think we should have used this window to sign somebody?
Would I like to sign someone? Yeah. Do I think we will? No. I just don't see it happening. We haven't really been like secure all the way through. Like we've been consistent with Lindelof, but it's all pretty vague. Like nothing's really going on. But there hasn't been much movement like in the summer where we had loads of links and they almost seemed certain. But I don't think we will sign anyone. And to be honest, I don't think we need to.
Oh, that was going to be my next question there. I mean, I don't know whether many people are aware that Bailly played for the reserves tonight. I don't understand why. He's been playing for Ivory Coast in an international tournament. He's not short of match practice. If Mourinho wanted to feel him in, he could have played him. He could have played him yesterday and given him an extra day's rest. Playing him tonight sort of showed me that he wasn't going to play against Hull anyway because it's 48 hours away. But off at half-time with an injured foot. Now, we haven't had Bay for the last few weeks anyway, but if that injured foot is another month injury, that leaves us with Smalling, Jones and Rojo as our centre-backs going into this period, like I say, where we are going to be playing 3 games every 7 days. Is that enough? 3 centre-backs?
Yeah, I think we can do it. We did it last year, just about, I think. Like Blind, he can do a job. But with Bailey, I worry about because what happened with Shaw? Like I'm wearing the Shaw shirt now, but he was great, got injured, and Bailey, he's picking up a lot of injuries, but he doesn't seem to be able to bounce back off of it quite a lot like Luke Shaw.
Yes, well, I mean, I think Bailey's been our best centre back, but he did get injured in the start of November, didn't he? You're right as well. So I just think it's a shame because he has been out for the last 4 weeks through the African nations, which we all knew he was going to go for. But I don't know. I think we've got very important games coming up over the next few months, hopefully. And I think the cracks have started to show with Jones and Rojo. I'm not convinced that when it comes down to it, that they are ultimately going to be strong enough to hold off some of the better teams that you are undoubtedly going to play later on in the tournament. And Manchester United have got the money. I've always said, why don't we just go and offer 50 million for Manolas tomorrow? Because I guarantee you Roma would take it.
Yeah, I reckon they would. They love the money in Italy.
Oh, and Seamus Coleman as well. I mean, I don't know whether you heard as well that the odds on Seamus Coleman coming to Manchester United have dropped drastically. It could just be paper talk. It always happens. Would you welcome a right back in Seamus Coleman when we've got Valencia?
I'd like Seamus Coleman to come, but I just don't think he'd be a first team player. I think he would come in as a squad player, and I don't think he'd want that. So I don't see him coming, to be honest.
No, I would absolutely love him to come, but we'll have to wait and see. The United Stand, we are available tomorrow if anything happens, and we'll be keeping an eye on it. But we'll wait and see what happens. Thanks for calling, Evan. Where are you calling from?
Dorset.
And your first time on the show?
Yeah, first time.
Fantastic debut, mate. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, cheers.
Please
Have
call
a good
again.
night.
Thank you. Yeah, very, very interesting time, isn't it, at Manchester United? I think, as I said, I can only reiterate what I said there. Very, very excited about all these games we've got coming up. Really excited. And where we'll end up in May, I don't know. I mean, we could end up with nothing. We could end up out the top 4, losing the League Cup final, getting knocked out of the FA Cup and the Europa League. We could end up with nothing. And God, that would be horrendous. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's the most unlikely scenario. But where we'll end up, I think we'll win the League Cup. I think the FA Cup will be difficult because at some point, I think Chelsea, Arsenal and City are all going for it as well. I don't think we'll get a clear run to the final and playing somebody like Palace like we did last year. I think we'll have to play at least one of those two. One of those 3. Europa League will be difficult based on travel and playing Thursday, Sunday, and also that's going to impact on the league. We are going to play Thursday night and Sunday lunchtime. That's 2.5 days. It makes it very, very difficult in the league. But I think I do agree with what Zayed said. I think Mourinho will go for everything, and it's going to be very interesting as fans to watch. And there's not going to be a lot of room for manoeuvrability. I mean, Michael Keane was linked to Everton today. I mean, we let Michael Keane go. Even if it's... I just think we need a centre-back. If Bay is injured, like I just said there, taken off the reserves at half-time tonight. Foot bandaged. It could just be a knock. It could be metatarsal, in which case he's out for 7 or 8 weeks at minimum. It could just be heavy bruising, just a couple of weeks. But I would suspect... Yeah, we all thought he might play against Hull on Wednesday. That was obviously not the plan for Mourinho. Why would you play him in a reserve game 48 hours before a Hull game? And he has been playing for Ivory Coast. He doesn't need match fitness. So, baffling why we did it. Terrible that he's injured. Hopefully it's not bad. But if it is... I'd get the checkbook out tomorrow because we've got the chance to do something amazing this year. We've got the chance to win a couple of trophies and get Champions League football. But we've got to maintain a squad that's capable of doing that. And Smalling's form is dodgy. Rojo and Jones, I think they've started to show a few cracks. What if Jones got injured? He's never been this fit his whole life. So, yeah, interesting. I would go and sign a centre-back. Would I risk it on Lindelof? Well, I wouldn't be unhappy with Lindelof. But I'd rather we just went and spent 40 million on 45 million on Manolas, but or even Van Dijk. Michael, can you hear me?
Hello.
How you doing, pal?
Yes. Hi. I was just talking about the transfer window.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I feel like we don't really need to sign anybody just yet because
they're
not who we really want.
I just said totally the opposite, but go on.
I don't think we need to sign anyone just yet.
Okay.
I think they would be wasted next season because we'll get the players who we really want. And it was like a new signing yesterday, I thought, with Schweinsteiger playing.
Yeah, you could say, actually, Schweinsteiger, Martial, Luke Shaw, Smalling, even Fosu Mensah. It's almost like 5 new signings in a way because they've not really been used this season, have they?
Yeah, and another point is... we don't need to replace Carrick just yet because we've already got the replacement in our club with Schweinsteiger. And by the time he leaves, we've got Fosu Mensah ready. So we should be ready.
That's an interesting point.
Mensah.
That is an interesting point, Michael, because it was one of the things we've not touched on tonight, but it was one of the things I said at the very start of the show. Playing Hull on Wednesday night, we already know that we've got a massive squad. I mean, people think, Shaw, Schweinsteiger, Martial, they should all be at least on the bench on Wednesday. But when you actually look at the numbers and who didn't play on Sunday from the first team, it's difficult just to even get on our bench. Do you think Schweinsteiger and Martial will be involved on Wednesday?
I think one will be, and I don't think the other will be. I think Martial will, but I don't think Schweinsteiger will.
I agree with you. I mean, we've not spoken before, but I do. I don't think Schweinsteiger will be on the bench.
Yeah, I still don't think he entirely wants to use him, but I think he's starting to like him a little bit more. He's starting to listen to the fans a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, and I've got to be fair to Mourinho. I never thought he was going to start him because I thought he was worried about, making himself look a bit stupid by having him training with the kids. But in fairness to Mourinho, he's been very consistent. He's let him back training with the team in September, I think it was, or October, early October. He gave him a few minutes at the start of December, and then he started him in January. And I think it can only be a matter... I mean, Bastian Schweinsteiger, no matter what anybody thinks, is a world-class midfielder. And he might not be world-class anymore, but he was. And if he's anywhere near what Schweinsteiger can do and he's training, then he should be part of the team. He's better than Herrera. He's better than Fellaini. I just hope that he gets the opportunity in the Premier League. I don't know whether you think that will happen.
I think it will. I think he's came back just at the right time when we've seen that Carrick's starting to get a little bit tired. I think him and Carrick for the rest of this season will easily get top 4. And like I said last time, calling, I think we'll get second or third.
Yeah, I think we're going to get second. I think we've got to. I mean, we've got to start on Wednesday. We've got to win the game against Hull. We've got to go to Leicester on Sunday, and we've got to win that game as well. But it'll be a good footing to get 6 points. Just very quickly, slightly off United. Tomorrow night, Liverpool against Chelsea. I think it's tomorrow night. Who do you want to win in that?
Yeah.
What's the result you want in that, and why?
Probably Chelsea, because I don't think anyone's going to catch them, and it will just get Liverpool fans even angrier with Klopp, I think, because there's been a lot of Klopp out recently with 3 home defeats in a row. It would be 4 against Chelsea, so
Yeah, I agree. I think I think. Well, I spoke to a Liverpool fan today, and he wouldn't admit it, but I think deep down, well, not even that deep down, I still think they can win the. They think they can win the title. I'd agree with you. I want Liverpool to get beat tomorrow. I know that all but ends our hopes of maybe catching Chelsea, but I think we ended that ourselves by not beating Liverpool and Stoke, and even then, I think it was a stretch. I do not want Arsenal, Liverpool, or City to win the title. I don't think Spurs. I think Spurs will bottle it, so I don't want to risk them. I'd rather Chelsea just. And also, I think it's better for us that Chelsea beat Liverpool because we're closer to Liverpool than we are Chelsea, and we need to get out of that 6th place. So I'd agree with you. I really hope they do win, but I've got a funny feeling Liverpool will win it tomorrow. I really do think that they will, but I hope they don't. Thanks, Michael, for calling. Where are you calling from?
Manchester.
Manchester. Brilliant. Thanks for calling, pal, and please do call in again.
All right, yeah. See ya.
Thanks, Michael. We've been blessed again tonight. Some fantastic calls. I just want to have a look at the live comments. Samir wants Chelsea to beat Liverpool. Good. Schweinsteiger is a smart player and a leader. Could easily interchange with Carrick when he needs a rest, says VK Dean. Liverpool and City will be 5th and 6th, says Jay. I hope so. I'd take a fit Basti over Carrick, says Dav OK. Mark Brown, next season, De Gea, Valencia, Bay, Lindelof, Shaw, Herrera, Pogba, Mkhitaryan, Martial, Griezmann, Zlatan. Opinions, it's very good. G Scratchman, easily get top 4. Who the hell will we displace? I think 1-1 Chelsea-Liverpool, says GGM United. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I'd be quite happy with that. Matt, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Matt.
How you doing, pal?
Good, thanks. Good. Just wanted to talk about where I think United should be aiming for this season and where I think Griezmann will fit into the team as well.
Okay.
I think going for top 4 and the FA Cup is pretty achievable because I think the EFL is basically done. That's one game. And so I think aiming for the FA Cup and top 4 gives us Champions League football and we can retain, then we can be reigning champions in the FA Cup. I think that could be good for our season.
I'd be very happy with the League Cup, the FA Cup and top 4. I'd be very happy about that. I don't know why you've left the Europa League out, but my personal thought, and I don't know whether you share it, is it's just a risk.
Yeah, personally, I think it's just too many games. Like, if we were going, I'd prefer to have like domestic titles unless we were going for the Champions League. Like, I think going for the Europa, it's too many games, and I'd just prefer to have the FA Cup and top 4, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd agree. Having said that, though, I love watching Manchester United play. I'd love to see us playing. I mean, if we do well in all tournaments, we're basically going to be playing 3 times a week till the end of May. And talk about a lot of football. I would love that, but I don't think the players would. I think it's very difficult. I don't know what your thoughts are. The squad is good enough to be able to do it. It's just whether he'd rotate it enough to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we have got a few aged players in our squad, though, that are quite important. And I think the trouble is, if we needed them for a big game in Europe, then they might have to miss out a game in the league, which could knock us a few points and, limit our chance of top 4. And then trying to go for the Europa League as well is a big enough risk as it is.
And I don't know what your thoughts on this, but I'll throw it out there. I've probably left it very late in the show, so people who have endured the show, I'm only joking, who've stayed and watched the whole show, You're going to get a pearl here. I think one of the things that's not been discussed by anybody, and it's coming from me, is that we have not got a leader in our team apart from Zlatan at the moment. I know captains are Smalling, Carrick and Rooney, but they're not proper leaders. Not what you need in this sort of... I mean, I remember 99, and Roy Keane just basically dragged us through it. And there were other leaders in that pitch, but Zlatan can't play every game. So if we played on a Thursday night against the Europa League team and we did really well and we qualify, and then we've got a away game at Borough, which we have got around March and April, or a home game against West Brom, and they come and have a go at us, but Zlatan's rested. My concern is, I don't think we've got a leader within the squad that when it will get tough and we will get tired, just to grab hold of us and force a result. I think we've missed that for a long time.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We haven't got a leader at the moment. I think the way United works, like Ashley Young, as much he doesn't play, is like a big fun guy in the dressing room and stuff. And I think Rooney is a big enough captain off the pitch to influence what's going on the pitch. But I definitely think, Pogba, I don't think he'll be going to Madrid or Barca or anything. I think he'll be at United for a long time. And I think in a couple of seasons he might take up a captain role as being because he is quite experienced at United as he's come through the youth setup and stuff. So I think he's a good candidate for the future. But for now, I really don't know. I think we're in a tricky situation where we're kind of just relying on people who don't necessarily play to lead the team.
I mean, Timo J has said exactly what I was going to come to next, as has Football First. Bastian Schweinsteiger is a leader. He's not a World Cup captain because he wasn't the captain when they won that, but he is a leader. He's captain Bayern Munich. He has captained the German team. He is a leader. He could solve the problem if you played Zlatan on a Thursday and you played Bastian on the Sunday. Yeah, I agree with that. But like the last caller said, will Mourinho use Schweinsteiger as much as he should do? I mean, you think about the team yesterday. No Zlatan, no Pogba, no Herrera. I know he came on a little bit. No Jones, no Rojo, no Valencia, no Darmian. We said Pogba, no Lingard, no Rashford. I mean, it's a whole other team, and we were happy with the team yesterday. So he has got the squad to do it. He didn't do it in the first 4 months though, and I think that's where people are concerned. They think he's probably going to just do the Thursday Sunday thing. Hopefully he's learnt from that. If he utilises the squad, we can go for all of them, and I think he will go for all of them. Very quickly though, transfer window closes tomorrow. Do you think we'll sign anybody, and do you think we should have signed anybody?
I personally would have left it. I think Mourinho, it'd be better for him to evaluate the squad we've got now, play out whole season. I think the reason he held off on Lindelof is because I think he really does think he can improve Smalling. But personally, I think maybe Blin might be going at the transfer window, or even Jones, because I think Mourinho trusts Rocco enough to be able to play at fullback and centre-back. So I think Mourinho's happy enough with the fact the players can play in multiple positions at the back. So I think he's left it till maybe summer, when we might sell a few defenders if we're going to buy one.
Yeah, and I'd forgotten about Daley Blind as well. He can play centre-back, so even if Bay's injured, we've still got 4. And you've got Twan-Sebi as well, and Carrick can drop in there. So there's a lot of options. That's not to say there won't be a signing tomorrow. United could do one. I'd lean towards maybe not, but they could do one. Fantastic call, Matt. Is it your first time on the show?
Yeah, first time up.
Where are you calling from, pal?
Coventry in the UK.
Yeah, not far from me. Thanks for calling. Really good call, and please do call in again.
All right, we'll do, Matt. Thanks.
Cheers. Thank you, Matt.
All
right. We've had some great calls tonight. I think Skype Goldbridge does get better and better. I know it was a bit of a nervy start when we started it. People were the first callers weeks ago now, but we tend to get really good callers every week. And I think what's happening is people are learning off the guests. They're seeing people coming on, they're seeing how they're doing it, and they're coming on first time, and they're doing fantastic as well. So really, really good calls again. Skype Goldbridge will be back next Monday. However, there is a show on Thursday where 3 of you will be on the show. You can get involved with that on Thursday night at 8:30. I'm not going to say loads about it, but there's prizes up to be won. It's going to be a new regular thing on the United Stand, so join us for that on Thursday at 8:30. But there's loads of content before then. We've got a Hull preview tomorrow night at 8:30. We've got a watch along for the Hull game on Wednesday night. Thursday night 8:30, as I just said there. Friday night 8:30 we'll be previewing the Leicester game. Ramble on Saturday, and then back another game on Sunday with a watch along. And then Sunday Night Live. So there's loads going on with the United Stand at the moment. It's tiring me out. No, I'm only joking. It is tiring, but it's enjoyable as well. And tomorrow we will react if anything happens. In fact, I'm thinking of doing a transfer show at about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Just a quick one, just to round up anything that's gone on. We'll do it at 9 o'clock, just a morning transfer show. And as things happen throughout the day, if anything happens, we'll go live and we'll discuss that as well. So if you are able to watch tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, we'll just have a transfer deadline day roundup, and we should have a gauge of anything's going to happen. And obviously we'll be live tomorrow night at 8:30 with the preview. Football First. Mark, keep it up. You are much better than the United Stand channel. I don't know what channel you think you're watching. This is the United Stand, but we're better than the United Stand apparently. I've never heard that before. But thanks everyone for watching. I've really enjoyed it. Please do drop a like on the video and get involved. If you've enjoyed the show, 8:30 every Monday is Skype Goldbridge. It's one of my favourite shows on the United Stand. I really enjoy it. So please do drop a like if you're watching, because it's not for the United Stand really. It's not even for me. It's for those guests who've come on, all of which have been fantastic tonight. So drop a like and support them. Please click that share button. I don't know whether anybody did it for Facebook, but please share it. I mean, share the videos anyway. If you can share it, you share that. Click that share button, and it lets you share on Twitter and Facebook. It's one click. So please do that. It's great if you can. Zach MU, great calls again, loving it. I think this show was just a concept idea that somebody sent. No, it's not somebody. It was my idea. I will take credit sometimes. And we never knew whether it was going to work out or not. I've seen call-ins on other channels before, and I found them a little bit raw and done incorrectly. But this is down to you lot. It might look good, it might sound good, but if you call in and you don't give us anything, it doesn't work. And you do call in and you do give us something, and I think it works absolutely fantastic. And I must also just say, you're not forgotten in the live comments. You're always there. You're always on the screen. You watch these videos back, your live comments are there. So you are massively part of it, and you deserve applause as well. So well done. Really good show. I really enjoy it. Please do drop a like on it and support it, because I'd never want Skype Goldbridge to go. Might rename it, but the actual concept I think is fantastic, and you make it, which is brilliant. Back tomorrow at 9 AM then with a transfer update. Will we sign anybody? Who knows? If we don't, we'll be live anyway at 8:30 with a preview for the Hull game, which is interesting in itself. What team will he pick? I personally would have Martial and Schweinsteiger involved. Will Mourinho? Probably not, but let's see. Yeah. Thanks everybody. Tomorrow's another day. Could be an exciting one. In general, there'll be something that happens tomorrow, whether it's United related or not. Let's wait and see what it is. Thanks for watching. Speak.